This is N985 News. In this hourly broadcast, we bring you 10 selected reports, including 3 developments in artificial intelligence, 2 reports on United States politics, 2 finance stories, 1 technology report, and 2 health and medicine stories. Let us begin. VentureBeat reports that enterprises are purchasing AI infrastructure significantly faster than they can understand its costs, creating what researchers call a significant compute gap. A recent survey of over 100 companies reveals that while most organizations still rely on major cloud providers like Google Cloud and Microsoft Azure for their current operations, nearly 2/3 plan to switch or add new vendors within the next year. This rapid churn is driven by integration needs rather than simple pricing, yet only about 44% of these firms can rigorously track their actual compute expenses. The situation is compounded by inefficiency. 83% of respondents report that their existing GPU capacity operates at 50% utilization or less, leaving expensive hardware largely idle despite heavy investment plans for specialized clouds and new accelerators. Furthermore, while total cost of ownership is a primary buying factor, fewer than half the companies can measure it effectively. As these organizations prepare to shift from compute-heavy models to memory-intensive inference architectures, they face an emerging bottleneck that many are currently unaware of. Ultimately, this directional data suggests that without improving their ability to see and control underlying economics first, enterprises risk widening their financial exposure as they blindly acquire more hardware for infrastructure strategies built on incomplete visibility. This VentureBeat report reveals a critical vulnerability known as the agent security gap. Across 107 enterprises surveyed, autonomous AI agents are accessing real systems while necessary containment controls lag significantly behind deployment speeds. The findings indicate that 54% of organizations have already experienced either a confirmed incident or a near-miss event involving their agents. A primary structural weakness driving these issues is identity management. Only 32% of companies grant every agent its own scoped, managed identity. Consequently, most remaining agents share credentials or rely on shared API keys and human service accounts. This practice creates a massive blast radius where a single compromised agent can cause widespread damage. Furthermore, just 30% of enterprises isolate their highest-risk agents in sandboxes to limit potential harm. While satisfaction with current provider-native security stacks remains high at 4.2 out of 5, spending on these measures constitutes only a thin slice of overall security budgets. Only about 1/3 of companies believe their defenses currently match the capabilities of AI-enabled attackers, yet nearly 60% plan to change or add tooling within 12 months as they recognize the urgent need for better isolation and identity controls before further breaches occur. This is VentureBeat reporting on a critical challenge facing enterprise artificial intelligence: a widening trust gap between confident AI agents and their unreliable business context. According to new Pulse research surveying over 100 companies, 57% of enterprises have already seen their AI systems generate authoritative, yet incorrect answers due to missing or inconsistent data sources. While retrieval-augmented generation remains the primary method for feeding these agents information, relying on it has exposed a significant vulnerability when that underlying context is thin. Although provider-native tools like OpenAI and Google are currently leading adoption rates, many organizations intend to maintain best-of-breed solutions rather than fully consolidating onto single platforms. The industry consensus points toward hybrid retrieval architectures by the end of 2026, combining embeddings with re-ranking for better accuracy. However, a governed semantic layer intended to fix these consistency issues is still largely under construction and not yet in production for most firms. Ultimately, businesses are prioritizing operational simplicity when purchasing tools, but monitoring them strictly for correctness once deployed. Until the foundation of consistent context is fully established, AI agents will continue running ahead of their owners' ability to trust them completely. Governor Gavin Newsom is preparing a serious bid for the Democratic nomination in 2028. Yet according to an exclusive report from the New York Post, emerging polling data suggests he faces significant headwinds against former Vice President Kamala Harris. Recent surveys indicate that Harris holds a commanding lead over her California rival and other contenders across 14 major polls conducted since late May. The most recent data from Echelon Insights shows Harris ahead by 7 percentage points, while an earlier Qantas poll placed her 18 points in front with 35% of the vote share. Although early name recognition often influences these numbers, they help shape perceptions of a candidate's viability as the race remains fluid. Following last year's election loss to Donald Trump, Harris has signaled intent to run again and is actively courting support from progressive bases by engaging figures like New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Meanwhile, Newsom's mixed stance on billionaire taxation, supporting it federally while opposing a state-level version, has drawn criticism for appearing inauthentic to some observers. As the field solidifies around Harris, these early indicators suggest she may be well-positioned to capture the nomination before the primary season fully unfolds. This hour on N985, we turn our attention to escalating tensions in United States politics regarding artificial intelligence technology. According to a report from the New York Post, top White House tech official Michael Kratsios has accused China's Moonshot AI of executing what he describes as a large-scale covert plot to steal proprietary